one of the most popular Spanish-language writers in the world, and the best-known practitioner of magical realism, Gabriel Garcia Marquez would have been 91 on March 6. Affectionately known as Gabo, Marquez is also known as the greatest Colombian who ever lived. He was a novelist, poet, short story writer, screenwriter and journalist. In 1982 Gabo became the first Colombian and only the fourth Latin American author to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Marquez's life was not always easy, as he had a number of health issues. At the age of 85 he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's after fighting a long battle against lymphatic cancer which he was diagnosed with in 1999. This is his story. History and reality. Marquez was born in the town of Aracataca in 1927, and grew up with his maternal grandparents, Tranquilina Iguaran and Colonel Nicolas Ricardo Marquez, until he left to attend school in the capital, Bogota. His grandfather was a colonel who killed a man in a duel. He had 3 illegitimate and an unknown number of illegitimate children. Marquez remembered something his grandfather told him: "You can't imagine how much a dead man weighs," and later integrated that lesson into his novels. The colonel, whom Garcia Marquez described as his umbilical cord with history and reality, was also an excellent storyteller. Always a journalist. Marquez studied law but never received a degree. He instead chose the path of journalism in El Espectador. The late 1940s and early 50s in Colombia were a period of civil unrest. This period left as many as 300,000 people dead. This time in history would become the background for several of his novels. The political unrest sent Garcia Marquez back to the coast, to the town of Cartagena de Indias, where he continued writing. He wanted to stay close to the real world, a journalist who wrote fiction. Leaf Storm, his first novella, was written in 1955, when he was only 27 years old. "I'm a journalist. I've always been a journalist," he told the Associated Press news agency. "My books couldn't have been written if I weren't a journalist because all the material was taken from reality." Influences. Marquez read intensely. He is known to have read Hemingway, Faulkner, Duane and Melville, the Europeans Dickens, Tolstoy, Proust, Kafka, and Virginia Woolf. "I cannot imagine how anyone could even think of writing a novel without having at least a vague idea of the 10,000 years of literature that have gone before," Garcia said. But he was not completely impressed by Western Europe as many other Latin American writers. He often expressed the belief of Europeans patronizing Latin America.